I mean, how's the camp in general? I mean, before I start the interview and all that, how is everyone in general? Are they all buzzing or?
Yeah, no, really, really good. Look, at the end of the day, 8 games to go. If you can't enjoy this journey, you know, it's why we're all involved in football in the first place. Doesn't matter if you're a coach, a manager, players, fans, the board. At the end of the day, we're in a fantastic position, and if you can't enjoy it, you know, there's no pressure. You know, at the end of the day, it's about us enjoying this moment that we find ourselves in, and what will be will be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It gives me great pleasure to have Jon Meeeney on, first team coach. He certainly has come in and sprinkled the magic dust into this team, because we've been on an absolute cracking run ever since Jon's come in. I'm sure he wouldn't say it was all down to him, but obviously everyone behind the scenes is doing such a great job. And obviously the top man, Gary, as well. But so, Jon, I just wanted to go into just a little bit about your previous. Actually, that sounds like you committed some sort of crime. No, we won't do that way.
I'm a good man. I like to think I'm a good man. There's no crimes on me.
But just looking at, quite interesting actually, that I was looking at you. You were involved with the Brighton Youth Academy when you were playing. You were at that level. Yeah. And you kind of almost transitioned straight into coaching. When did you kind of decide that sort of scouting coaching was your thing?
Yeah, no, like I say, I was at Brighton for like nine years. And at the end of the day, I wasn't good enough to be a professional football player. But what Brighton did give me was an insight into coaching, because I was always thinking within the sessions, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And I played in numerous positions and never really cemented one specialist position, and I think that helped me to see the game and to read the game. So it was like, I would say, once I got released, I started doing my badges straight away. Brighton helped out with that. I went to Chichester College, and they really helped me out with that, and that gave me a real insight to what coaching was like, and I loved it. And I'll be honest, I made a decision about 20 years old to stop playing football competitively.
Yeah.
And that's when I become first team coach at Worthing. Always grateful to Chris White for giving me my first sort of like real competitive opportunity in coaching in senior football. So yeah, that's when I officially stopped playing football competitively and embarked on this coaching journey.
Wow. Well, what I was going to ask you just before then, because I've got a little, my spies told me that you actually were a sort of talent scout in Finland. Is that? Yeah, what was that about?
Yeah, that's correct. That came from some Brighton contacts. It's important that you maintain good connections in the game, but also in life. Don't burn any bridges. And Brighton have helped me out immensely. And yeah, through the contacts of the club, I actually went out there for a coaching trip. This was, I believe, actually like 2 years before I become manager at Worthing with Gary. And yeah, I went over there for like a coaching trip for about 10 days. Yeah. Really enjoyed it, and got just joking about with some of the club's representatives that I was working with over there at Arbel, sort of AIF Turku, who were linked to TPS. And they said there was a role that was funded by the Finnish FA, where what they do is different regions, they would have like talent identification coaches to work within their infrastructure. And yeah, joking about one night after coaching, they said, would I be interested? And then the rest is history. I think I was at a little bit of a loose end as well, where I needed to grow up off the pitch a little bit as well. Yeah. And I was thinking, I might as well do it now. I've got no things like keeping me in the UK. You know, I was living at home still. I didn't have a missus. I wasn't really having like a full-time job somewhere. I was doing bits and pieces, non-league football, and working at the local leisure centre. So I'm a bit of a risk taker. So I thought I'd take the gamble. Worst case, I go, do you know what? Hands up, it didn't work out. But again, it gave me a good sort of played a massive part in what I was doing.
Yeah, I mean, do you keep any links? Do you keep in contact with any of the chaps over there?
Yeah, no, I do. It was actually quite funny. The day that I was confirmed of coming in at Hastings, I had a Finnish Premier League club contact me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just for talks. But I just thought, you know, I'm getting married in a couple of months' time. I'm going back to Brighton to work within their academy also. And I wanted to be true to my word. You know, at the end of the day, you can put all your eggs in one basket with first team football in the professional game. I just wanted to get back on the grass, have some ownership at Hastings, which Gary and the staff give me to do what I love doing, coaching. And Brighton, obviously, it's the third time I've been back at Brighton. And I think if I'd said no, not to go back and work in their academy this time, I don't think they'd ever have me back.
So then, moving on from there, so you spent that time obviously in Finland. So that, how did that opportunity open up for you at Worthing with Gary? I mean, how did this?
Yeah, so obviously I've been caretaker manager at Worthing, like when Chris White moved on, and then also when Lee Brace moved on. And I started obviously the relationship with Adam Hinshelwood, like first team coach, assistant to Adam. And then I was actually visiting Finland a year after I sort of like left. And I remember finishing a training session early, and I missed call on my phone. And what happened is Adam Hinshelwood had accepted the under-18 coach's role at Brighton. And Gary was coming in as a player. And I'll be honest, I felt as if I deserved an opportunity, you know, like I'm a coach, but I thought I knew the club really well. I knew the infrastructure. I knew the style of play that would suit the players, and it would be like a bit of an easier transition instead of getting someone else just like new in. And I remember having phone calls backwards and forwards, meeting Gary, speaking to me on the phone, FaceTime, speaking to the club. And we just come to the decision that actually, do you know what? Gary's a leader of men. I'm young and naive, but I could look after all the coaching and have that easy transition of the players knew me, and Gary could come in and play, but be that sort of like that game manager. I lead from the sidelines, he leads on the pitch. But also I could learn from Gary, and maybe Gary could learn from me if he had a little bit of one eye on being a coach. And that's just how our relationship blossomed, if you like.
Well, yeah, because I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong here, but you went up via the playoffs, didn't you?
Yeah, we went up through the playoffs. Yeah,
and you got to the Sussex Cup final, didn't you?
Sussex Senior Cup final, yeah, and like you say, promoted, and Sussex Senior Cup final first year. Very lucky. So it was
a cracking season. I mean, obviously there's a few faces from the team at Hastings. Obviously Ben Pope, Lloyd Dawes. Who else? I'm trying to remember now. Bloody hell! Oh, I've seen Gary. Yeah. So can't forget him. Bloody hell! Yeah. But you know, so quite a familiar feel to this. I mean, is there any similarities you feel?
Yeah, I feel it. I can't lie. At the end of the day, we're 8 games to go, and I've got the same feeling. And do you know why? First and foremost, good club, good fan base, and that's exactly the same as Worthing. That's why they're doing so well. Total respect there. But do you know what it is? It's the honesty of the group. For me, I look at those individuals. You know, you've got senior pros in there, you've got young players within that change room, but they're just a good, honest group. The way that they train, the way that they play, the way that they behave, the way they look after themselves, and the togetherness. And I had that feeling at Worthing. And for me, they're fundamentals. They are key fundamentals in any winning team, any winning group of players. And that's why I want them to succeed so much. The club, the players, this group of players, they deserve to go forwards. And that's every single training session, every single game. That's what I just keep relaying to the players. You know, nothing's a given, but if there is a justice in the world, hopefully we can go and get it done.
Third time's the charm, I think. Getting back to so you were at Worthing, you got promoted. Now I think to me, did you then took a role at?
No, I went to Eastbourne Borough. So obviously Gary and I went our separate ways. You know, and we laugh about it now. We learned some valuable lessons. In hindsight, we should have stayed together. But now we feel as if we've got our second chance together to do things right. Yes, we were successful at Worthing. There was even a lot of things that we did that goes unnoticed. You know, we were a good duo together. But I think what it's allowed us to do is learn from valuable lessons the way that it ended, to make sure we put it right at Hastings, but for a little bit longer. But yeah, after I did leave Worthing, I went to Eastbourne Borough. I went for the Bognor job, I went for the Bognor job. I went and met Jack Pearce, had a cup of coffee and presented to him. And actually, I thought I had a good chance of getting it. To be fair, forget my age. I thought I had a good chance of getting it, and it didn't happen. And then, you know what? Again, forever grateful. Good friend of mine, Jamie Hell. He said, "Come to Eastbourne. Come be my first team coach at Eastbourne." So it was nice because I didn't have the pressures of being manager. And in hindsight, it was the best thing I didn't go to Bognor for numerous reasons. But you know, when you're in the game and you got a feel for it, you want to get back on the next horse, and you also want to prove that you can manage no matter what your age. I went to Eastbourne, and Jamie Howe, he didn't need to take me over there, but we said, let's try and bring together what Jamie did at Bognor, what we did at Worthing, and let's try and make that work at Eastbourne Borough. And again, forever grateful.
Yeah. So you went on from there. Why did you take up the Horsham post? What happened there?
If I'm honest, I think there was a little bit of a transitional period at Eastbourne Borough, and Jamie was full time there. So until Jamie went full time at the Christmas when we were together, I was helping out with the academy at Eastbourne Borough because I've always had a keen eye on the youth. Yeah, and Jamie trusted me, and when he transitioned to becoming full time at the club, again, at the end of the day, you can't have, unless you have got the resources, you can't have 2-3 full-time staff, even at that level. So what it was, I think they were doing a bit of number tweaking behind the scenes. And at the end of the day, it made sense for me to move on, because you still have, like, Ian St. Pember was there, Danny Blore was there, Dean Lightwood was there, and Jamie was there, and Jamie's hands-on with the coaching as well. So it made sense. You know, we had an honest conversation. And Horsham, you know, I've always wanted to work with Dom De Paolo. And if I'm honest, again, we didn't work together for a long time because Brighton commitments came in. But obviously, it was a lovely spell when I was there, and it was nice to see Horsham go on and complete their promotion push that season. And like I say, they deserve all the plaudits for that.
Well, wherever you go, you seem to go and get people promoted. So it's so, man. I mean, we got then also, I didn't know this, but I mean, you went obviously to Crawley. I mean, what was that like? Obviously, league club.
Brilliant. It was 1 year. You know, at the end of the day, I think it sounds as if I hop around a little bit, but it's anything but that. You know, I'm about, if opportunities come and it's the right for you as a person and as a coach, it's exactly the same, you know. And I'm proud of my journey because it started there, being released by Brighton after 9 years, and it went like that through the football pyramid. And the only levels I haven't coached at is League One, Championship, and the Premier League. And I'm very proud of my journey because at the end of the day, I'm a no one regarding a player, and I've had to work my arse off to be the best coach, the best adaptable coach that I can be for whatever my target audience is. And going through the football pyramid has allowed me to do that. Obviously, I want to...
John, how do you tweak that, actually? Out of interest, how do you tweak your coaching style? Is there anything that you would sort of focus on more, to say sort of our level, this step compared to... how would you tweak it?
Yeah, I think like anything for me is we all have our playing philosophy and our coaching philosophy, but it's about players. It's about recognising what the strengths of the players are, what the strengths are of the team are, and adapting your way. Unfortunately, in the modern day now, we get bogged down by perception. We can't be seen to be doing this because it might get that reaction. At the end of the day, I was brought in, for example, to Hastings to win games of football. I was coming in to Hastings with Gary, Brownie, Ben, Bobby, Pete, etc., into a very good squad of players where Aggie had worked really, really well for the last 2 years and put the foundations in. However, this year, it was about coming in, winning games of football, and it quite easily, how much change do you need to make? We had to make subtle changes, understand what the players and the squad were doing well, but where we can maybe add that extra %. So it's like any club you go into, you know, Rome wasn't built overnight. You need to talent ID. At the end of the day, you need to talent ID, see what tools you've got to go to work with, what tools you need to add, and then go to work. And for me, as a coach, I'm not a manager, I'm a coach. I feel one of my main qualities is I can connect with people and players, and I can adapt to what they need, not what I know and want to deliver, what they need. And that's the biggest thing. And I like to think that we're doing that at Hastings at this moment in time, because it's not about me. It's not me implementing the Man City style. It's not me implementing the Burnley style. It's not me implementing the Barcelona Leeds style. It's about what is the Hastings identity. Now let's get the best out of this group of players and see where it can take us.
Yeah, no, good, great answer, John. In terms of coaching, what was it like? Actually, what was it like coaching league players? I mean, is there a massive difference? I mean, I suppose you might be getting a few more egos, but like other than that, I mean, full time, because obviously at this level, not everyone's full time. They've got other commitments. I mean, what was that like?
Time, like the biggest thing when you're full time, you get contact time with the players. You get plenty of time to work with them on the pitch coaching, off the pitch coaching, working with them individually, positional specific as a team, and you can have that gradual process during the week, leading to the game on the Saturday, when really nothing really should be alien. If you've done your work, you can watch the opposition regarding doing the analysis. So you have a real good indicator of what you're coming up against and what you need to do offensively and defensively, set pieces and on transition. But no, for me, as you go through the levels, obviously the time's the key. But the way that I look at it is the mentality. Good mentality. Players athletic, very athletic, and that's helped with obviously the resources that the clubs have. But I think the biggest thing, like anything, the higher up you go, it's about consistency. Consistency is key. You got to bring it day in, day out, game. If you are and be what you are, do what you repeatedly do. And if you do that more consistently and be your best version, then ultimately you stay at a level. Yeah. And that's what I always say, because we all know, even within the Hastings ranks, the lower leagues, we always see players that, have good technical ability. They may have a good physical profile, and you always go, oh yeah, so-and-so, good player. But why is he never gone on? Yeah. And I think, look, players that are willing to have that commitment, that sacrifice, that attitude, the mentality, that character to match their ability are the ones that actually do kick on. Yeah. And that's what I saw day in, day out during my time at Crawley. And like anything, I worked under two completely different managers, one Italian and one a British manager. Yeah. So for me, I was adapting to what they wanted, their sort of like their DNA, as they called it, within the club. But some were out of favour with with Gabby, the Italian. Others come into favour. So you need a little bit of timing, a little bit of obviously luck. Things change very quickly in football, and sometimes you can be in the wrong place at the wrong time, or the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, talking about being in the right place at the right time. Linking back up with Gary, how did that come about?
It's funny, I was actually in talks with, so I was 18 months out of contract. Obviously we had COVID, and I didn't have a club from from Crawley. So some real challenging moments personally. And then I was always obviously good friends with Aggie, talking to Aggie, and we're trying to maybe like work something, because I was doing a lot of individual player development work locally with pro players and non-league players, academy players during my time. So we was always talking, and then bosh, he went. Nothing ever really materialised. Gary was straight on the phone. He went, look, they want to make me manager. I said, bloody brilliant, Gaz. Now I always used to say to Gaz, you'll have one more stint. You'll have one more stint, Gaz. He's like, no. I'm enjoying my playing. And I said, go on, have one more, when we was always talking. Yeah. And ultimately he went, I'm only going to do it if you come in. Yeah. And I went, where do I sign? Because I also said, I've done my due diligence. I don't go into things blind. It's not about levels for me. It's about working at the right club with the right people. It's got to be the right environment. And I wouldn't have joined any other club in this league bar Hastings, because I know how professional it is. I know where it could go, but I knew what it stood for. The infrastructure regarding the youth setup, how the makeup of the board is, you know, the fan base, all of that. It's the whole package for me. So I was like, yeah, where do I sign? And then boom, we were together on the Wednesday, I think November the 11th, something like that.
Yeah, blimey, yeah. Seems so long ago now. I mean, you've obviously come in running. I mean, what's it like working with the other coaches? I mean, particularly that gentleman called Peter Heritage. I mean, what's it like dealing with him on a weekly basis?
Brilliant. You know, obviously everyone warned me about his jokes, you know, but he's just a good egg. He's just a good man, you know, and you have to respect what he's done in the game. He's a character. And you know what? One thing you never want to lose in football is characters. You know, that I know society changes, etc., but you need good characters, and he cares. He cares. He live and breathes it, you know. And I'd rather have someone like that around than someone that just has no emotion. And he wants to be around it. And do you know what? He comes up with some little golden nuggets. So even when I'm out there delivering the sessions, and I'm very hands-on, he will come up with a little golden nugget, you know, and a real simple golden nugget that just captures everyone's imagination. And he needs to be embraced just like the rest of the staff, because, yeah, as much as I'm on the front foot, you know, hands-on, that ownership on the training pitch, you know, we got a great multidisciplinary team, you know, like Andrew Brown, everyone. I love Brownie. You know, he's analytical, his attention to detail, the conversations we have. He's a very good young coach, and I'll be a fool not to embrace him because I can't do it all. You know, Gary overviews everything. You know, that's a manager, and that's one thing that's become very apparent is the way Gary's transitioned to being a manager. I was brought in to coach how we attack, how we defend, but with the support, you know, and the team effort of Brownie, you know, Bobby with the strength and conditioning, Ben with obviously the goalkeepers, Pete as well. It's a real collective sort of like pull in what we're doing. And like I say, it's been an absolute honour to work with this multidisciplinary management team.
Yeah, I mean, just quickly with Pete, have you ever done like a reenactment of Leeds West Ham, you know, on the pitch at all ever? Because I know you're a Leeds fan, aren't you?
Yeah, massive Leeds fan. Just put it this way: we played them back to back, didn't we? FA Cup and the Premier League. Yeah. And I said to him, "Look, you can have. I love the FA Cup, but I said you can have the FA Cup Mars bar. When we beat you in the league, I like a white Milky Bar chocolate." So yeah, that's as far as it's obviously gone. But there's good banter between us both.
No, that's good. It's great stuff. Well, I mean, where can this group of players take us? I mean, what do you think we need, if anything?
Yeah.
What let's be confident at the next level. When we're up at the next level, where do you think to stabilise in the league above? Is there anything you think needs tweaking, or anything needs addition? Any addition?
You know, I think, like I say, first and foremost, it's one of those that you're getting to know me, Chris. Look, we've got 8 games. You know, I can't stress, as much as we're in a good place and the feeling's good, and the way that we're playing, especially Saturday. I was very, very happy with us Saturday. You know, I'd pay to watch that myself, especially the opening 45.
Yeah, good. Very aggressive in attack and defence.
Yeah, I thought our interplay offensively, like you say, there was a purpose to everything we were doing. You know, the way that we mixed our play up, which was pleasing, and obviously the clean sheet. So first and foremost, it's making sure we do take care of these 8 games, and the way that we attack these 8 games is no further than Cray Valley on Saturday. But no, like I said, with the testament to the group of players, I think it would have to be very cute recruitment next year, no matter what league we're in. There's a core of players here. There's a good blend, as I said, of senior players. You've got players that are sort of like middle ground, that have been at the level for a few years and have sort of become more accustomed to it. And you've got the young players coming through that we're also looking to embrace. Okay, and obviously, like, I'll give an example. You've seen what James Hull has done recently. You've seen what Kane Penn's done recently. TC at right fullback, and we've also given opportunities to the likes of Leggy, to Batesy, but we always have at least 5-6 youth products training with us on a Thursday, not to make the numbers up, ultimately because we value the youth section that the good coaches within the structure have been doing, and there's a lot of potential. So as always, it would be cute recruitment, no matter what level we're at. And look, there's a plan A and there's a plan B. If we do what we set out to do and get promoted, let's be realists, there's a plan A. If it's playoffs, if we're in this league next year, there's a plan B.
Yeah.
But ultimately, plan A is to make sure that we're best prepared for Cray Valley on Saturday.
Talking of Cray Valley, John, any injury worries, or are we all fairly...
No, all good. No, the squad's looking all good. Like I say, it's important that I think now we've been quite lucky where it's been Saturday for a sustained period.
Yeah.
So it's important that we just manage that squad the best we can. I think we've done that really well with the use of the 23s, certain evenings off training to senior members. But it's not ultimately about coaching now. It's about management. Everyone managing themselves the best they can as a staff, as a players, what our program looks like during the week and how we prepare and how we recover for that game on its own merit. Yeah,
great stuff. Just, is there any message you want to send out, John, to the U's faithful?
First and foremost, on a personal note, I would just really appreciate, I think, over the last few weeks, I think I'm building a bit more of a rapport, a bit more of a relationship with the fans as they get to know me and see me around more. So I really appreciate their warm welcome and their support of myself, the rest of the management team, but more importantly, obviously, the group of players that go out there game. And hopefully you can see the unity that we all have. You can see the relationship that we all have on and off the pitch. And these next 8 games, we're going to need the fans as much as possible and vice versa. But one thing I do like is when we score, when we keep clean sheets, you see that connection and the celebrations on and off the pitch together. And that's something that we need for these next 8 games, because they travel in their numbers at home. They travel in their numbers away from home. And I always have a little saying, together stronger, because you'll never see a Hastings side in our time go out there that don't give a monkeys. Do you know what I mean? You'll see a team, a group of players that have pride, have passion, but love playing for Hastings. And I think, look, at the end of the day, that can get us over the line.
Great stuff. I'm fired up now, John. I'm fired up by those words, mate. Well, listen, John, absolute pleasure. Thanks for your time. And hey, this one more game. Well, 8 more games to go. One more. It's always the next one. It's always it's always you have to. Do you know what I mean? Because of course it's the business end of the season. Yeah. We want to get this done as early as we can. But if you look a little bit too far ahead, you lose sight of what you need to do. So it's our job to embrace this feeling, but just be a little bit measured and calculated with it, and let you guys just go with the flow. Yeah, we'll be the emotional wrecks, mate. Don't worry. No. Well, listen, absolute pleasure, John. Thanks, and well, I'll see you at the game. I'll be there at Cray. There'll be lots of us. Yeah. There's a lot of us going, so. We'll be there to cheer you lot on. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to coming over and seeing you before the game and after the game. Yeah, well, probably before the game's better. After the game, we might be a mess. But you guys are doing a great job. We're just trying to get that message out there. I mean, you're doing a fantastic job. Anyway, take care, and thank you for having me. Yeah, cheers, John. See you later. Bye bye.